Man, this is a good-looking crowd. How's everybody doing? I'm Dallas Woodhouse with Americans for Prosperity. And guys, our legislature has given us the first step today to serious tax relief and reform. Now, some of y'all probably want to know why I've got a football jersey on. Because over the past 20 years, before the last few, there have been people with a playbook. But they were fumbling the ball when it came to business and jobs. They were introducing high taxes, high regulation. And you know what was happening? We were losing. We were fumbling. We needed a new playbook. And today that playbook has been delivered. It's a new taxing plan in North Carolina. It's going to change North Carolina's business tax climate from the 7th worst in the nation and going to move us up 27 places. One of the biggest improvements in tax climates ever made in this nation's history. We wanted to see this legislature get North Carolina back in the game for jobs and business by delivering real tax relief and reform. And today they took the first vote. Tomorrow they will take the last vote and they will send it to Governor McCrory for his signature. Now let's talk about that a minute. Now on these foam footballs we're throwing out, it's got a website. It's called Back in the Game NC, and you can find out all about this new tax plan. It's one that takes our corporate tax rate from a regional high of 6.9%. If things work out well, we will more than half that rate to 3%, making us lower than all our neighbors. Right now, we have a personal income tax rate that is 7.75%. That is higher than Virginia, it is higher than South Carolina, it is higher than Georgia, and it's much higher than Tennessee, which doesn't have a personal income tax. In 2 years, we will be competitive with our neighbors, and you will have significantly more money in your pockets, because if you pay income tax in North Carolina, you will be paying less. So I hope you will take time to thank them, to go on our website, Back in the Game NC, take the foam footballs, thank them for cutting spending. Over the next 5 years, this tax relief and reform plan will return $2.5 billion to the taxpayers of North Carolina who created it, earned it, and rightly should keep it. There's a lot of other reforms they've been working on, regulatory reform, but these folks have led when others didn't. Now, I've held a lot of rallies on this location over the years. Somehow, when the other folks were in charge, raising taxes and doing things, we found ways to express our opinion. Knock on wood, never went to jail. Followed the law. And I didn't like what those guys were doing. I really didn't. But we expressed our ways within the law, got the proper permits. And I understand the other side's frustration. They milked the taxpayer for generations and are sad that they can't do it anymore. I get it. But there's a fair question when you start throwing questions around about morality. Was it moral when Governor Perdue looked at the taxpayers of North Carolina and said she didn't know how to spell tax increase, and then just a month later pushed the largest tax increase in North Carolina history on taxpayers? Was it moral when Jim Black bribed his way to a majority in the IHOP bathroom in Salisbury? Was it moral when Mike Easley became a convicted felon? They have every right to their beliefs, but they have no right to question my morality or yours or theirs. The overspending, the overtaxing, and the overregulation that this state engaged in has been immoral.
You know that abortion is like no other procedure. No surgical procedure or chemical procedure. When we're talking about abortion, we're talking about 2 lives at least. Every abortion ends the life of an innocent human being, and we can never, never forget that. How many of you have heard of webcam abortions? What is right? You know, the other side is always telling us that abortion is a decision between a woman and her doctor. Well, webcam abortions put a whole new spin on this decision between a woman and her doctor. Because in webcam abortions, the doctor meets her over the internet. He can be 100, 200 miles away. He dispenses the abortion-inducing drug to her via the internet. Well, in both of these bills that are before our legislature, we have a provision that says that the doctor must be physically present when he gives out that abortion-inducing drug. It's bad enough that that unborn child is going to die, but the mother deserves better. She deserves a doctor that's there and that can care for her. Another provision in the bill, the 2 bills that are before our legislature, is sex selection abortion ban. It is unconscionable that an unborn child should die just because he or she is the wrong sex. Don't you agree? Well, our legislature agrees, and they've got that provision in there. I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart for all that they've done. I hope you will thank them also for everything that they've done. They're in the process of now deciding which of the 2 bills. We know the governor has said that he will sign Senate Bill 353, and we're asking the Senate to concur. But we don't want the Senate nor the House to feel that we're unappreciative of what they have done this session. We appreciate them, and we want them to hear from their constituents that we are thankful. Thank you.